Eko nene. So on Friday kuna vile nilibaki nimefanya show fulani. Ilikuwa kwa the live show, na kwa the live show tulikuwa joined na boy anaitwa Simon Bogwa. Simon Bogwa iko hizo maside za US and is one of the he's the guy who was the MC kwa ile event ya Rigiji, hizo masides. So in the process what ended up happening is of course we talked about Rigiji and we talked about tribalism in this country. And I can say from the comments I'm like damn, because if you've been around hapa Kenya for some time, you may notice like since last year tumekuwa tukisema tuko tribeless, tuko whatever ways, tuko whatever less. But if you go through some of these comments, you're like, damn. Kuna boy anaitwa Manu 001 alikometika, you people, kwani Mkikuyu akiongea dio tribalism inakuaga? Si hivyo. And Wamunyoro anatry kuwa the president of the Republic of Kenya. This guy is the former Deputy President of Kenya. I've never heard him talk about Kenya. Every time that I hear him talk about, he talks about Mlima. And that's the problem that some of us have. This is not a problem with the Kikuyu community that some people want to pretend, hii kitu ni anabonga, watu wamejam na Gachagua jini Msapiri. Hakuna mtu wamejam na Gachagua jini Msapiri. Wasa wamejam na Gachagua, Gachagua hajui how to be a national leader. As a national leader, you have to be able to stop playing favorites. You have to think about what's good for the collective Kenya, not what's good for a particular tribe. So, say, and that's the reality. And the fact that everywhere naenda anaongea mlima. So we end up with such comments. Kuna boy fulani pia alikuwa amejam na mimi hapa. And as I keep saying, naonyesha hizi comments just to show you how far we are from reaching the problem, the point tunataka. Kuna boy anaitwa Nathaniel Gashoki alikuwa ni kama Africa, are you hosting or being hosted? You're just shouting your anti-Rigiji narrative. Let your guest articulate himself. I gave the guy a chance to articulate himself. One of the things that I'll never allow is someone to push a bullshit narrative. So ile time alianza kubonga Rigathi Gachagua quit the government because he was protecting, he was tired of Gen Z's being killed. I was like, this is some bullshit, man. Like ujua, yeah, this is some bullshit. Then Peter Thuo, Rigiji for president, Kikuyu lazima tuongee, no apology. No one refuses you to talk, ajua. And yes, no, hakuna mtu amekataa, but the fact that we are having this fight, and vile tuna have hii fight have from the perspective of tribalism, it's really really funny. Kuna msali kwa ameandika mwaf, there is no perfect candidate, but Gachagua is a man willing to listen. If you listen to Simon during this interview, he's ready to take criticism and take it to Gachagua. Gachagua has apologized to millions of times over the shares issue. I find it troubling that lakeside people are willing to work with someone who killed him. That is Ruto, but cannot forgive Gachagua for mere utterances. Ruto said the shares thing too. You never bring it up. Gachagua is not perfect man, but he will he's not a perfect man, but he will be a better president because he listens, learns and changes direction. Oh shit, Gachagua will be okay. Sawa, tunatoka kwa block wase, kumkeni tulimake mistake na Ruto. Sasa tunafaa kurudi kwa Gachagua, si ndio? Ruto alididisha so Lakeside. I have news for you. So Lakeside, I think hakuna president ajaididisha. The 1969 massacre, Jomo Kenyatta. 2007, Moi Kibaki. Oh shit, nimeruka Moi mpaka hata alikuwa na sponsor clashes for a very long time. That's why ukienda Gujakani wase wengi wakipigi ng'ombe, because cattle rustling and all that used to happen during the Moi time. And yes, so kuna hiyo 2007 Kibaki, 2013 2017 Uhuru, 2022 2023 Ruto. It's nothing new under the sun. So this has nothing to do that. And funny enough, this has nothing to do with the Lakeside. Gachagua is just not the right person for the country. I'm sorry if that makes you think that mofa nasema hivyo juu ni mjaka. Isho inaitangwa iko nene. Kuna place tutumaga complaints zetu, PO Box 32678 Kajitombe. So okay, wacha tuendelee na hizo comments. So what else did I see here? And kuna msee alikuwa amesema nini tena, iko nini pia nyinyi mwache kubeba ufala, $15,000 a month is not child's play, earns make around. Okay, kulikuwa na story boy alibaki amebonga yeah, stories you earn 15k. I always give people the benefit of doubt. I don't know what someone is earning in America, so how am I supposed to, ukiniambia what you're earning, I can't be there like, you don't earn that, how do I know? You can't even be earning more. I was States, nilikuwa huko nikapelekwa na uboy anaitwa nani sijuka nakumbuka uboy anaitwa nani huyu Mato alinipelekaga kwa, tulikuwa na best yake fulani, tukaishia kwa country club fulani. That country club is like $70,000 a year just for membership. So people make money out here, man. Who am I? Then kuna msa alikuwa sema wanaona mwaf ni tribalist, but the guy has mentors, confidence on another level and hard talk. Oh shit, okay, sawa. Ilikuwa then kwa msa alisema mwaf hiyo analogy ya soko ilikuwa ya mtata. Yes, kuna something I kept forgetting, like why does Rigiji always end up telling us that Nini Rigiji always end up telling us that ama always attract crowds, and that's one of the things ile ilikuwa. Then kuna msana itwa Nostalgic United, Mwaf leo was highly unfair, leo ameingiza biasness. I'm super biased when it comes to these old school politicians. That should not be news for you. I want Nairobi to be ODM and UDA free, and in the process DCP, but DCP conflicted because Irongo Nyakera is the guy I think can take Nairobi to the next level. The fact that he has to run through a shitty party makes me sad. Worst come to us, yes, DCP has my governor vote, but I don't want Nairobi to have these clowns. ODM, UDA. So I'm super biased. That's one thing you should know about me. Stakam hapa ni kudanganya that, oh, I'm supposed to be neutral. No, I think these tribal clowns have taken this country as far as they can take it. We need nationalists. So with that, I'll never be I'll never apologize. So baki umejua. Wacha tuendelee. Kuna msana itua Music Ventures. Iko nini? Give Bogu a time to speak. Look like this podcast is Kasongo sponsored. You can believe Cheriot, but you can't believe anyone else. That's a red flag. You can believe Rigi banked the ticket requesting for 10 billion, but you can't believe anything else from other quarters apart from the government side. Another red flag. What you see wajinga, bure kabisa. This is something nataka ku keep clear. Kwa history ya 10 billion, if anyone who watched the interview, I was actually laughing. But one of the things that I talked about was this, and this is a fact. Before, when Uhuru was president, Rigiji was in court. And apart from him being in court, two things happened. First of all, alinyanganywa 200 million yake ilikuwa frozen. That's a fact. When Uhuru was president, another thing, there was a piece of land he was fighting for. And the piece of land was worth 1.5 billion. When he went kwa the debate, he said he was worth 600 million. But when Ruto became president, two things happened. First of all, the 200 million yake ikakuwa released. I think that happened. Ile case yake ya the 1.5 billion land, he ended up winning that. Those are facts. So Ruto made this guy at least a cool 1.7 billion shillings. With that in mind, the rumor started. Hii rumor ati alibang meza. Of course, it's funny to us kusikia that mse alienda kwa president akaanza kubang meza iko kia Kikuyu alipigia kura ni 2,000. Walipatia bilioni 8. Nitachukua Kikuyu hata niende nao. It's funny to me. If it's not funny to you, man, I'm sorry, man. Like, you live such a serious life. Hapa we have fun, man. We talk about ish. Alafu tukaendelea wapi tena? Ilikuwa then kuna mselo kwa amesema nini? Looks like Wamunyoro has found himself a propagandist. Okay. Yo kulikuwa na hiyo pitu. Alafu kulikuwa nini? Most people sound wise only because they say Ruto must go until usikia what they propose. There's also that happens where Nini. But there's someone who said something that I felt some people lost. Ilikuwa Collins Abuga alisema it's not about speaking in Kikuyu but addressing all people and issues from a Kikuyu standpoint. Yet Matiang'i would sound weird speaking in Kisii or Kiluya or Ruto in Kikale. Yes, that's what happens with Nani, with Gachagua. Gachagua speaks from about stuff from a Mulima perspective, never from a Kenyan perspective. And this is something that you kama unatoka Mulima and it makes you happy. Then you never look at Kenya, you always look at Mulima peke yake. Then of course such an interview really happened Friday itaku offend because wanataka hiyo cocoon, but sisi tunataka Kenya. We feel like there's enough for everyone. And so kuna msa alikuwa ameandika ngori sikubonga kisapere, ni hiyo narrative na push ati sisi wa sapere ndio tunaumizwa, alafu atake advantage ya emotions tumfanye kingpin. Lemba kingpin politics must end, and that's what mi nataka. Then kuna msa nisemaga mwaku bonga gibberish at time, hakuna video yake hata moja ukosa kumention Uhuru. Nini just ja mention ya Uhuru buda, suniambie jo buda, Uhuru alituibia ma Eurobond, si ndio? Expressway ni ya Uhuru buda, si ndio? Gachagua alisema alitoa Uhuru kwa baa, si ndio? So what's the problem here? Uhuru is a former president. Of course we have to talk about him. I don't know why we shouldn't talk about him, but hizi vitu zote lazima tubaki tumecheki. One of the things that's happening here is tribal politics haijaisha. Kuna msomaji aliandika Rigathi is our friend and will help us stop abductions and killing of Gen Z by helping us remove this regime. Newsflash, abductions, killings will continue as long as an old school politician comes into power. By old school I mean, even if we had to talk about Matiang'i, we had to talk about Martha Karua, we had to talk about who else? We had to talk about Kalonzo, we had to talk about who else? Wamalwa. These are old school politicians. Will it be worse under some of them? Yes, I expect extrajudicial killings to be worse under Matiang'i than they'd be under Kalonzo, Martha Karua and Wamalwa. Nacheki. Matiang'i is more, so I expect him to be Nini. But to claim that Gachagua, acha mchezo. Alafu kwa nini? Kuna msali semaga G5 mwafu anachuki against Kikuyus, Luos in general. Mwafu anachuki against Kikuyus. Ndio mse. Unajua kuna vile unaweza kwa upendi Rigiji na unapenda Wasapere. Buda utakuwa unapenda Rigiji, haupendi Rigiji na unapenda Wasapere. Unajua Rigiji ndio Msapere. Na uncha Rigiji kidedi Wasapere hatakuwa, si ndio? So sisi upendi Rigiji na maanisha unachukia Wasapere. Okay, so I love this sort of reasoning. Ni reasoning ingine imeenda shule kabisa. Then kuna msee mmoja alikuwa amesema nini hapa? Kuna Dr. Munya alikuwa amesema there is nothing like Kenyan. It's a colonial construct. We don't speak anything called Kenyan or Kenyanlish or Kenyanese. We speak Luo, Kamba, Luya, etc. And we don't have relationships with Kenyans. We have relationships with Luo, Luya, blah, blah, blah. The idea that identifying with your tribe and being loud and proud about it is now wrong. It's not only ignorant and stupid to say the least. Then akaendelea. I think before endelea wacha tuangalie hivyo. No one says that it's wrong. The only thing we say that the minute that you give yourself up for leadership, you have to be able to separate yourself from your tribe. If every time you open your mouth, you never talk about what Kenyans are going through, you only talk about what one region is going through, then there's a problem. And I think I don't even articulate this issue as well as Val Githai aliarticulate kwa ile time aliconfront Rigiji. Shida ni hiyo, hakuna mtu amekataa. Mimi waga hapa nikijoke juu ya Kijaka, niko hapa Ian na joke juu ya Wasapere, Rapture na joke juu ya Wasapere, so joke juu ya tribes. Like there's nothing wrong with tribes, but you know one thing that happens, tukiingiaga hapa kwa hii room as iko nene, tunakuaga iko nene, hakunaga alafu nakuaga wa Kenya, hakunaga tu ni Msapere au ni Mjaka au ni Zizi na kwa kasini wa Kenya, and we fight for the collective good of Kenya. Utatupata hapa tuko like, je, unajua jo saa hizi jo kuna vile Kenya inaendelea, but kuna vile Wajaka wamesaulika, kuna vile Wasapere wamesaulika. Tunaga hiyo nonsense. So hii kukwaza kupush narrative, ni kugaslight wase, hii kufanya ati sisi the fact tuna criticize Rigiji kwa kubonga Kisapere at an event that every tribe had been invited to. Yeah, unacheki like hii event ilikuwa ya kila mtu, like the way the invite was sent was for everyone, and to even suggest that the only people that showed up ni WhatsApp ni to show that womsesi a Kenyan leader ye ni nini. Alafu hii story ya kusema that hakuna nini ati Kenyans, sisi ni Kenyans man. Hii story ati mimi nafaa kukaa chini mu interact na wa Kenya more times than mu interact na Wajaka. Like nikipatiana situation yangu kwa keja yangu, like ile keja na ishi ndani, siishi na Mjaka, like hata siwezi kumbuka kijaka mubonga every time either nikibonga na mother ama but bado mi ni mjaka. Does that make sense? Like I think wasi like ati sisi ni wajaka mi nikiingia kwa kejangu na hiyo ati mimi ni mjaka kwanza, mimi ni Mkenya, tutachana hata wife anaweza nihepa jo. Then kuna this work Gen Z nonsense about being tribeless will actually lead to an identity crisis, something which is already happening to many young people. Instead, promote and focus on positive tribalism instead of focusing on the negative. Unity in diversity should be the rallying call. I think I've always talked about this, and I've talked about positive ethnicity. And let me tell you one thing. Nimeishi Nairobi life yangu yote. I know one thing that the people that I've interacted with most are Kikuyus. Kikuyus have some of the most brilliant minds. You know what? Who's not a brilliant mind? Rigathi Gachagua. If Kikuyus are to choose their best, Rigathi Gachagua would not be in top 1 million. That's the reality. Okay, tuendelee. Kuna msanaitwa Mark Monene, Mwaf, you've become Gachagua editor nonsense. Some respected you, but unaralia Gachagua sana. But you'll be shocked. Kwani how many have made it from business? Kwani Raila ametoa zake wapi? Ni from business ni business. Kasoga na Meni wametoa wapi? Yani Mwaf umepewa sikio na wengi na ukadhani you're the only one with brains in Kenya. Wacha kupiga. Msee ukijifanya clean. Sana unasahau matapeli wengine. I'm sure who knows this. Unapiga Gachagua playing safe kimpago kusafisha kasogo. We all know that stupid. We all know that stupid. To know your game. Gachagua akona right ya kuania. Come tukupe votes kama unaweza. I wish Bogo angejua ufara akunayo na adil na wewe vile uko. But try to respect you because I'm sure unajua ulikuwa na utiaji. Mark Monene, mimi sikuwa na utiaji wako. Mark, kwenda kukwenda. Oh shit, man. It's always funny. Damn. Niko pro Kasongo because I don't think Gachagua is the best. The same way, if you have to ask me, I don't think I've interacted with a lot of Kalenjins and Ruto is not the best amongst us. Najua. These are reality. This is the reality. You interact na wajaka and naweza kuambia there's a lot of Luos who would take the Luo nation to the next level and Raila is not that person. Cheki. Like wajaka wangapi wamededi for easy regimes and nothing changes. They're still brutalized. Even after every handshake that he makes, the amount of brutality ile wenda gojakani, it's still ile tu. Saizi ni vile tu imeteka small break. As soon as ameenda hivi, hiyo brutality inarudi. But hii kitu ilikuwa interesting sana. Kuna msali sema Gachagua is the truthful man but he's a kingmaker. That's the same thing nilisema. Then kweli Mwaf, you hate Rigiji with a passion. Cool it down bro. Hiyo ni kwa Jeff Kaponda. Kuna nani tena hapa? Kuna watu walinibamba kabisa hapa. Dreams of then hata ni cheki. But yes, kuna hii story ile nilicheki. I think hii nini all I wanted to do na hii reaction ya hii video ni kukuonyesha light hii story ya tribalism haijaisha. A lot of Kenyans still believe that every time that you criticize mse kama Gachagua, you're criticizing Kikuyus. Every time that you criticize Raila, you're criticizing Luos. Every time that you criticize Ruto, you're criticizing umse anaitwa nani? Kalenjins. Every time that you criticize Matiang'i, you're criticizing Kisis. This is a disease that we have and it's going to take some time before hii disease iende. But hii show ilinionyesha hiyo kitu. Kuna msanii anaitwa DJ Exit Kenya. Alikuwa anasema the bad thing with Mwaf, you're saying everyone is tribal. Na uleti option ya yule mtu unataka kuwe president. All this mtu alihongwa 8 billion. I don't know what. Nobody comes with facts. And if it was not for Rigathi, hatungejua siri zote za abductions Adani na kila siku. Siri gani za abductions? Like what didn't you know about abductions that Gachagua made you know? Buddha. Abductions have been happening. Kuna msanii anaitwa Bogonko mpaka leo hajaijulikana kulalikuwa. River Yala ilipatikana ikiwa full of bodies. Abductions have been happening. This is what I keep saying, that just because you ignored an injustice until it came close to home does not mean the injustice never existed. Abductions have been happening. Rigathi Gachagua did not teach us anything. I know. Alafu kuna nani tena? Wewe kila mtu unasema korong. Tell us the option. Who is qualified to do business na serikali? Mtu yuko qualified to do business na serikali ni mtu haiko kwa serikali. That's why kuna the conflict of interest bill. If you work for the government, you should not do business with the government. That should be something for the private sector. These stories are, and this is the reason why a lot of these clowns are super rich. Like 1 minute wako hivi, the next minute, yes. And this is the reason why, like right now, I don't want to know how much as our ODM, these professionals, of course tunajua Joho used to be a billionaire, but the rest, how much are they worth right now after working with the government? You'll find some very crazy figures. Why? Because they're still doing business with the government. That should not be the case, but it is what it is. So kuna nani tena jo but kuna msee moja ama ni Esther aliuliza kitu fulani, and this was interesting. Alisema, why are we spending so much time debating whether speaking a local language makes one tribal? We should embrace our local languages. Speaking one language does not make one tribal. In fact, we should learn several Kenyan languages so that we don't become suspicious when one speaks one language. We should stop the self-hate. And I think Esther Piali missed the point hapa, but I get her point. Hatusemi that Gachagua ni tribal just speaking the language. Tunasema ye ni tribal for like always speaking about the mountain, never about Kenya. And even when he travels to a foreign country, he feels like he's only meeting people from his own tribe. He does not, and Sayo, he's trying to be the president of a country. And he comes with the baggage of saying something like what? That anyone who does not vote for a government is not a shareholder. It's a shareholder government, kitu kama hivyo. And yes, that's what it is. And kuna msel konsema Peter K. Mwangi, iko nini? The thing of shareholding, I think you are not fair to Rigiji, because anywhere in the world, the government is formed by people around the campaign. Rigiji knows development is based on the whole nation. Stop the propagated narrative. A country should not be about Nini. Just because we've accepted mediocrity does not mean that we should keep pushing the mediocrity. No country should have development that's based on tribe and based on who voted for who. When you become a president, ukinua ile kitabu, immediately inakuwaga you're the president of the whole country. And at that point, you start doing what's good for the country. So let's say, mi ni mjaka na mi ni president. And I have an option. Ni build airport, ni build airport Machakos. Na that airport ya Machakos ita benefit the whole country. Na so Machakos hawaku ni votia. Ama ni build airport Kisumu, ile haita benefit the whole country, but wase Kisumu walinipigia. I'm supposed to build it in Machakos. Why? Because I'm supposed to think about the whole country, never a tribe. And that's the reason why. Kuna msamoja alisema, you listen to this guy and you realize ni ngumu Kenyans kutoka kwa block. And that one, I actually I agreed. Najua. I actually agreed with that. And it's sad. It's sad that we still look at these things, and when we look at these things, we look at them through tribal lenses. And as long as we are doing that, I won't lie to you. After this conversation that we had on Friday, kuna mbeleni kwa najidanganya that 2027 hatuta vote tribally. I'm worried. Because even when I go through these comments, I'm worried kabisa. Because these comments inanionyesha we're still looking at things through tribal lenses. So there are people who still feel that people have even convinced themselves that Gachagua left the government because he could not stand Gen Z's dying. Gachagua could not stand Gen Z's dying. Someone who was a DO. Msali survive siku za kina Mamolo clashes. Literally alipeana wasaperi times siku za Moi. All of a sudden sasa Gen Z is where he draws the line. Tuachege upumbavu. But this was too interesting not to talk about. So yeah, another time. And Kenya is still tribal as ever. And maybe the only disclaimer nenda kuput, kama we ni mjaka na nimecriticize Raila usijali, ni juna lamba haga ya saperi. Kama we ni msaperi na nimecriticize Rigiji usijali, ni juna chukia wasaperi. Kama we ni mkale na nimecriticize Ruto na haujafurahia ni juu nachukia wakale. And yeah, whatever fits the narrative, siwezi kuforce kureason. Najua if you've come to believe that when one of your own steals public resources it benefits you, who am I to take you away from that? Najua. And I really hope hii pesa ita trickle down, because damn, every day nasikia Kidero iko na billions, Raila iko na billions. Hazinifikiagi jo. Still have to wake up every day and go to work. And when I'm going to work, who do I work with? I work with Kikuyus, I work with Luyas, I work with Kalenjins, I work with Giriamas, I work with all sorts of people. And when we are working together, we look at ourselves first as humans and second as Kenyans. I've never been in a situation whereby tumekaa chini na tunajiangalia through our tribal lenses. No one is telling you not to be proud. Be proud of your tribe. But you see the difference between you and Gachagua is trying to be the president of Kenya. And newsflash, Kenya has more than one tribe. Kenya has more than one region. Kenya has 55 million people. Kenya is super diverse. But whatever rocks your boat, kawe ni mjaka, mtu anachukia Wajaluo na wewe ni Mjaluo kama sisi. Mwafrika anachukia Wajaluo. Kawe ni msape, mtu anachukia. Kila siku anaongea juu ya Rigathi, anasema Rigathi ndiye mkabila. Kwa nini aongee juu ya Raila? Iko nene.